Well, hello everybody, and welcome to a brand new Blu-ray update. And we got a little bit of a biggie here this time. I'm telling you, and you can tell what is the biggie here, but that's obviously going to be the best for last. But as you can see, we have a couple of notable films, a couple of internationals, and a couple of big blockbuster films, and a couple of some notable ones, mixing a range from Disney to a couple of international ones and one entire series, trilogy, I would say, to say the least. So, this is actually kind of a combination of two different orders, two of which I had gotten on Amazon, and then all the other, well, actually, three specifically, two regular ones and the one box set, and then all the others I just got in this past Friday at a place that obviously I think called Alight Games that have sold a couple of not just a lot of used games, but specifically a lot of used physical media, specifically Blu-rays, and I have gotten 9 of them. There is specifically 8 that I'll be showing out here out of the 9 because there is one Blu-ray here that I will be saving for the Criterion Collection Blu-ray update. The Curious Case of Benjamin Button. I'll be talking more about that in a future Criterion Blu-ray update when I get more Criterion Blu-rays in this collection. So that will be for a different video. So I will be looking at the 8 that I got in this past week, and as well as the 3 from Amazon. So I'll start up with the 2 that I got in Amazon first, and then kind of go in a little bit of order and ending it up with me actually unboxing that. So starting this up, we're going to begin with the 2 standard Blu-rays I had gotten on Amazon a few weeks ago, and they are the animated Danish documentary Flea and the Canadian film Monsieur Lazhar, both Oscar-nominated movies, of course. Pretty much all except for two. Actually, technically, all of these are Oscar-nominated movies, actually, that I've gotten, with the exception of technically one that's part of the box set, but. So these were the 2 that I've gotten first, because they actually had like a coupon on them, specifically on Amazon. So sometimes you might find like a 10% off on them sometimes, which I kind of focused on the wish list that I usually have. And I managed to get both of these. So Monsieur Lazhar, start this one first. It's basically, if you've seen my personal lineup, I did nominate the star of the film, Hamid Fellik, for Best Actor in my personal lineup. It's basically, I believe, this undocumented immigrant, I believe, if I remember, that becomes a new teacher and really has a big appreciation for, like, the students specifically have a massive appreciation, especially one girl in particular, and it's this one in the back right here. This was nominated, as you can see, for what was then called Best Foreign Language Film, now Best International Feature, losing out to Ashraf Hardy's Iran film, A Separation. And then we've got a movie I've been trying to chase out for a while, Flea. As many of you know, this is the Danish animated documentary about an anonymous person going under the name Amin, who had escaped the Middle East to prevent going into war, and is currently residing unanonymous with his family in Denmark. Only the filmmaker, Jonas Paul Rasmussen, is the only person that kind of knows him because he had known him throughout most of his life. And obviously he wanted to tell his friend the story about his friend's journey from the Middle East to where he is now, but of course, since he doesn't want to remain to be identified, and now with the technique of using animation, that's where this movie comes in, kind of similar to what with Waltz with Bashir in 2008 and Tower in 2016. So this, of course, became many things. It became the first film to be nominated, first animated film to be nominated for documentary feature. That lost to Questlove's movie, Summer of Soul, or When the Revolution Cannot Be Televised. The first documentary to be nominated for animated feature, losing out to Disney's Encanto. So yeah, I now have all the 5 animated feature nominees from 2021, since I now have all the 3 Disney movies, The Mitchells vs. the Machines, and now this. And the second animated film nominated for international feature after Waltz with Bashir, and the first film to be nominated in all 3 featured film categories in the same year. And For me personally, if I did that series that I used to do when I reviewed all the animated international documentary nominees, Flea for me, I would have easily have given it for both documentary and international feature. It was my favorite animated and documentary film of the year. It would be in the middle for international because I do prefer The Worst Person in the World and Drive My Car, both of which are up in this Criterion section. So I've gotten those. So because yeah, that international feature lineup was so good. It's just we don't have The Hand of God on a Blu-ray release, and I think there's not been a Blu-ray release. There has been a DVD one for Lunana Yak in the Classroom, but there's no Blu-ray release as of this recording. But this was an incredible journey of this entire movie. I know there was an English dub of the movie with Riz Ahmed, who is an executive producer of this film, who kind of does only the English portions are only in the present scenes only. So I didn't watch that entire thing. So maybe I will if this is featured in this one. So I've been trying to find this one, and so glad I finally gotten Flea in my collection. We got two more international ones here, and these are now the remaining ones that I've gotten at Elite Games. We have Denis Villeneuve's Incendies and Michael Haneke's Amour. So, wow, both of these movies, especially Incendies. If you remember, I had this big in a lot of my personal 2010 lineup. I was really amazed by this movie. It just it was a mess, just a massive, amazing, like a massive mystery film with about these two siblings trying to find their origins of the mother and who was technically their father. And it's just like an intense discovery of trying to figure out what's going on. The cast, especially, I know one of them is Luba Benable, and I forgot what was the other actress's name on this. Is it in here? I don't see the cast name on this. No, Melissa de Moux-Poulin. I did see this. Both of the ladies that play these two women right here were fantastic in the role. And of course, Monsieur Lazhar, nominee for foreign language film, now international, losing out to Denmark's In a Better World. And then we have Michael Haneke's Amour, which was nominated for 5 Oscars, including Best Picture. As you can see, they're both Sony Pictures classics, so that's kind of massive coincidence as well. So, was Monsieur Lazhar part of this? No, it's not. But no, it's not a Sony Pictures classic. But of course, this won Best International Feature, and massive performances, phenomenal performances by Jean-Louis Stratan and Emmanuel Riva. Riva did got an Oscar nomination, losing out to Jennifer Lawrence for Silver Linings Playbook. Triant definitely should have been nominated. You also had Isabelle Huppert in here, which was not really a standout here. Now, this was kind of a tough movie for me to find because this was the last Best Picture movie of the 2010s I needed to watch. There is one on the Internet Archive, but it's in Spanish. But luckily, when I had Hulu, it dropped on Hulu, and I finally be able to watch it. And I really did enjoy it as well. Not as amazed like Monsieur Lazhar, Incendies, or Flea, but definitely a good one, and definitely would be my pick in the international category. Definitely a deserved winner, but not a strong lineup from that year, but definitely a massive story. Wow, it's just well done. Here are 2 Best Picture nominees. We got 2012's Zero Dark 30. Definitely should have been placed with Amour, but I have that in the international category. And a movie I've been trying to find for a while on Blu-ray, Bohemian Rhapsody. So Zero Dark 30, now, obviously, as you can see, this was another 5 Oscar-nominated one, and actually tied with Skyfall of winning for sound editing. So that was I did remember I saw that tie live, and I was just like, really? And that is the latest tie ever in the Academy's history. I have actually, not too long ago, a few weeks, last month, I did watch Bigelow's The Hurt Locker. Really great first half, but then it kind of fell down a bit in its second half. So, not really something that I'm known for. But obviously, Catherine Bigelow, as many of you know, was the first woman to win the directing category of the Oscars. And The Hurt Locker, the first female directed movie to win Best Picture. This is better. I do think Zero Dark 30 is a better movie. Jessica Chastain definitely gave a great performance. The Help, and The Eyes of Tammy Faye, all fantastic performances, but I think in only my personal line, I believe Chastain has only appeared No, she is in both in The Help and Zero Dark 30, and I think she won on my personal line for 2011. I don't remember, but well, I don't have my laptop on me, so I I don't have that. But yeah, it was nominated for picture, original screenplay, film editing. Like, it should have won film editing. Like, I know William Goldenberg would have still lost to himself because he did one for Argo, but I think he should have won for this film. And now we come into the most divisive movie, one of the most divisive Best Picture nominated ones, Bohemian Rhapsody, directed by a homosexual pedophile named Bryan Singer. Man, okay, so I am in the positivity of this movie. I really, really had a lot of fun with this movie. As many of you know, in my personal 2018 lineup, it only showed up in Best Picture. Didn't show it up in original screenplay, not in the acting categories, not even director, of course, because I did not know what moments Bryan Singer directed and what Dexter Fletcher finished. So, yeah. Now, obviously, yeah, this movie has a lot of things that are a couple of issues. Like, the biggest issue is that they made Freddie Mercury very unlikable. And I think that might be due to not just the writing from Anthony McCartan, but also Robbie Malek's performance. Definitely the weakest. Malek was not the great casting choice after the result of, like, it seemed good at first glance, but the performance just made Malek just made Freddie Mercury very unlikable. That's the thing. But the Live Aid moment is something. The unfortunate disappointment is I do not have, like, the DVD of this, but who cares? I only got the Blu-ray. That's all I care about. And for Zero Dark 30, this is, I believe, the Canadian one. So, yeah, so sometimes a couple of the international ones showed up at Light Games. Like, I believe I saw a UK Blu-ray somewhere. I forget which movie it was, but yes. And so, yeah, sometimes some of the international Blu-rays do show up at that store a couple of times because, of course, Blu-rays are always region-free. So, even if it's a Canadian Blu-ray, I'm still glad I've got that. It's now time for some Disney Blu-rays, or technically somewhat with Disney, if you're not counting that in its original release. We got 2 Pirates of the Caribbean movies, Ace, which we have Dead Man's Chest, and if you can't really see because of how the sun's kind of dealing with it, at World's End, the very first film of the MCU, Iron Man, and The Princess and the Frog. So start up with the Pirates of the Caribbean movies. I did watch all 5 of them like a few months ago. I actually really did like all 5 of them, and obviously it's kind of difficult to get all 5 of them on Blu-ray, because the thing is, there's no, like, actual Blu-ray set for the entire 5 films here in the US. I know there's, like, one in the UK, but not in the US. But I did manage to get both Dead Man's Chest and At World's End. I didn't see The Curse of the Black Pearl, On Stranger Tides, or Dead Man Tell No Tales. I don't know. I still think the first one is the best in the entire series, but the thing is, all 5 movies are entertaining. I think I'm going to be honest. I think I liked At World's End more so than Dead Man's Chest, but they're all pretty fun movies to watch. So, yeah, I'm basically 2 out of 5 in this, so I've got the 2 sequels. I just need the 1st, 4th, and 5th film. And then we come into Iron Man. Now, obviously, I am not a big MCU person per se, or like a big in the superhero genre, mainly the MCU. Now, I had watched this movie specifically because when I do my Oscar movie marathon, I usually have one bonus film that is in the technical categories that could have been like in the top 8 categories or like Best Picture. For 2008, that was this film. So Iron Man was my bonus film for 2008. I did watch the sequels as well. And I was surprised how much I really loved Iron Man for the first time. Like, it was kind of shocking to me that it was really well done, because obviously you got to keep in mind, this was Paramount. This was Paramount before Disney fully acquired Marvel. So it's very interesting to see Paramount actually making a really good superhero movie under, like, before Disney had took over. And it just, like, because one thing that really stood out was how the writing went, because you had 2 of the writers of Children of Men, I think was Mark Fergus and Hoggotsby, doing the writing thing, and with Robert Downey Jr.'s performance, because this is more of the Tony Stark side, instead of, like, with Iron Man 2 being more the Iron Man side, and then Iron Man 3 being both the Tony and Iron Man side. Not a fan of the sequels, though. Yeah, I watched this, like, on the week, like, the days before Christmas. Like, I watched Iron Man 3 on Christmas Eve, by all means. So, yeah, so I watched this during Christmas weekend. So, that's kind of a bizarre thing to say. So, but perfect timing for Iron Man 3. But this is the only Iron Man movie I have liked, and one of the fewest MCU movies I have. The only other one I believe is Spider-Man No Way Home. So, Tony Stark, you are very lucky that your first Avenger is in my collection. But the one I really want to talk about here is The Princess and the Frog. Oh my gosh. This movie is a masterpiece. This is one of the best animated films I have seen from the 2000s. It's just although I did grow up with a lot of Pixar movies, but this is a true masterpiece here. I mean, this was a great experience when I decided to watch all the animated Disney films from the era from The Princess and the Frog to Frozen 2, which I kind of call it the Lasseter era because John Lasseter was the chief creative officer at the time, although it did technically start with Meet the Robinsons, but this is like post to 2010s. I don't know what specific era you like. The modern era, I call it. So, and obviously this was Disney's comeback to hand-drawn. This was one of the last two ones they did, the other one being the 2011 Winnie the Pooh movie. I know many people want to see them go back to hand-drawn, but with that box office flop of Winnie the Pooh, they just can't do it anymore. But that was their mistake for releasing Winnie the Pooh in the same day as the final Harry Potter movie. But this was a phenomenal experience for me. I mean, I really appreciated Tiana. I mean, all the animation was well done. I loved all the characters, and all the songs were really well done. This definitely should have won the Oscar for Best Animated Feature. Definitely. And oh my gosh, this is still, as of this recording, I've not finished the Oscar movies of the 2000s in the entire decade in general, but this is my favorite from 2009 so far. It is just a masterpiece. It is just a massive experience. I don't know which movie is better from this modern era, this or Zootopia, but they're both neck and neck. But definitely one of their best movies from Disney Animations, and definitely I really loved that movie so much. And last but not least, for this Blu-ray update, obviously I'm now in front of the camera because it's time to unbox the big one. And that is, of course, this is something that I was so lucky to get. The Dark Knight Trilogy Ultimate Collector's Edition box set. So, you might be wondering, how on earth did I get this? Because this was only, as you can see, a limited edition one. And this is what, number 12,420, because there were only 141,500 of these that were made. So how did I manage to get this? And that is actually because of Amazon, because this was actually the last one that was in stock from them. And I decided, you know what, and when I was planning to get Flea and Monsieur Lazhar, I was like, you know what, this is going to be out of stock soon. I need to get this, and sure enough, I did. So this is my third box set in the entire collection, falling behind the Cartoon Saloon's Irish Folklore Trilogy and the Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory 40th Anniversary set. So, obviously, this is, of course, Christopher Nolan's The Dark Knight Trilogy, and this was a major coincidence, because I watched this entire trilogy, I think almost a little bit less than a month before the Oscars. And, obviously, this is going to be interesting because I had watched, obviously, all three of these because I had to watch The Dark Knight because it was a big movie, as in won Best Supporting Actor for Heath Ledger. It also won for sound editing and had a couple of other nominations. And obviously, this trilogy, of course, comes with Batman Begins, The Dark Knight, and The Dark Knight Rises. So this is pretty exciting because a 6-disc Ultimate Collector's Edition featuring 5 original frameable villain prints from Mondo, included reproductions of a couple of Batmobiles, it looks like, large 48-page photo book of the trilogy with rare images, a letter from director Christopher Nolan, and then over 90 minutes of new special features just for this box set. So, this is the back side. I love this front end. So, I'm going to open this right now. It was kind of a little bit open when it got to the box, but I have not explored this yet until now. So now it's time to finally get this going. So, alright, so this is, yeah, it's like the Willy Wonka one, so, okay, so how do I open this? I think I just lift this up. From Christopher Nolan. I'll actually read this. A message from Christopher Nolan. So it says, "It's been 10 years since I walked out of Alan Horn's office holding the keys to one of Warner Brothers' most prized assets. I never stopped wondering why they entrusted something so important to someone so inexperienced. If I had been paralyzed with self-doubt. In retrospect, it can only have been my absolute confidence that a return to the old-school 70s blockbusters that I grew up with would be the key to bringing Batman back. I thought my references were original, but it now seems obvious that 10 years ago, every studio had been hoping that every tentpole they made would take the audience back to the great early days of Spielberg, Lucas, and Bond, outsized Bond. Few movies have pushed their particular button, and I believe the changes to the craft of filmmaking were to blame. I put together a team of the best technics in the world to test my theory, and we tested it more and more with each new installment, shamelessly pulling the stunt and special effects techniques of movies we loved in hope of combining them into something fresh for the audience. In the early days, we never dared whispering the word trilogy, but I think we all knew that if we worked as hard as we could for something that we truly believed in, the opportunity to build a grand 3-act narrative would be there. The studio was patient in a way that studios rarely are. 3 years between the first 2 installments, then a further 4 until our conclusion. The Batman thrills on continuation reinterpretation, but I hope that the work of these 3 movies is ambitious and cohesive enough to stand the test of time as a distant and notable interpretation of a great icon. The story you have here is a story close to the hearts of myself and my collaborators. We tried hard to do justice to the shadow, figure out the dark heart of the Dark Knight trilogy. Hopefully we succeed. Christopher Nolan." Now, Academy Award winner and soon-to-be Sir Christopher Nolan, as he was just later announced that he would be indicted. So this is this is probably the book. I wonder if this is the one with the disc. Yep. So yeah, so this is the disc one. So we got Batman, the disc for Batman Begins, the disc for The Dark Knight, and the disc for The Dark Knight Returns. And I think, and I don't know what this is. It's special features for the entire trilogy. So that's what it is. I think, yeah, okay, so how they handle the disc, definitely massively better, so. Let's see. This is the book of the Never Before, some of the rare images, right? Yeah, so it'll be an interesting look here in the future. I think this is the Pope. This is a little bit smaller, but okay. Oh, is this all the art ones? So let me see. Yeah. Men fear what most cannot see. There's nothing to fear but for himself. See yourself become the villain. Take Gotham back. Some men just want to watch the world burn. And sometimes it's the pit sounds something back. Obviously, there's Bane, the Joker. I think that's Scarecrow. I forget which one. Scarecrow again. So yeah, so that's the film. So that's all the art post-work. So I'll put those back in here. Then digital code. Okay, that's unnecessary. Oh. Okay. These are the 3 figures of the Batmobiles. I'm a little bit hesitant to open them because they're in really good condition, but I do. Alright. here we go. I know I have scissors. Give me 1 second. Alright, so we've got this little motorcycle right here. A little bit up close if I can do that. And then we got, I believe, the flying version of the Batmobile, it looks like. It also comes with a stand. Like propellers? Like this or something? No, it's like that. Like you're supposed to have standing on a pole. And then we got the actual Batmobile car itself. That's amazing. I can't believe you actually get like actual car toys from this. So definitely something I'm really happy I've gotten. So, made a bit of a mess, so give me a few seconds here. So this is basically it. This is what the entire Trilogy box set you get. You get kind of a big book with all the Blu-rays. You got a picture book. You got those art pics. And you got 3 kind of figures of Batman vehicles, all kind of connected to like a Batmobile or something like that. So, yeah, so all this is being displayed in this kind of more of a shorter brown table. This used to be where a glass table used to be in it, but that's now gone now, so thank goodness, because I think this table is definitely better. So, yeah, awesome experience. I don't know if this is better than the Willy Wonka or Irish Folklore Trilogy box that I have over there. That will all depend on if I ever explore these Blu-rays, which I rarely kind of do. I don't know why, but I think because since I keep watching so much movies, I don't have time. Like, a lot of new movies I have to follow. But, yeah, in terms of my thoughts on the entire trilogy, definitely The Dark Knight is the best one. Although I wouldn't consider it, like, some of the greatest films of all time. Like, Dark Knight Rises is definitely the weakest of the trilogy. Because I kind of knew I already knew, like, almost halfway through, I knew the Marion Cotillard character was going to be a plot twist villain, of course, in that trilogy. Batman Begins, definitely a great Bruce Wayne aspect story. Obviously, Dark Knight was more on the Batman. Heath Ledger gave a phenomenal performance as the Joker. That was just amazing. One of the best interpretations of that character that you never thought it was, and that's just astounding. Christian Bale as Batman is kind of questioning. I know he works well as Bruce, but I'm not sure about this. I'm Batman. Yeah, that voice. So now I've had to put this all back together in this one box. I don't know how the vehicles are going to do, so I'll see how the results go. So after putting that back together, that will do it for this Blu-ray update. Thank you guys for watching. If you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button. And this is going to be a while until when we get to the next ones. But as I stated, once I get to the next Criterion Collection Blu-ray update, I will be talking about The Curious Case of Benjamin Button. Stay tuned for that with any other Criterions when I will get them in the next video. Not the next one, but whenever I get to the next Criterion.